Hello. Good morning. Welcome. Brunching, building, as we do every week when I am not doing something. um, Hello. Today we're gonna be continuing Mr. God Gundam. Very exciting. Very cool. So, recapping, we started it last week. Quick recap from last week. There's a part that's supposed to screw into another part, and I never quite figured out how to do it. So, I still don't. So what I did is we're just moving on and hoping that I don't face any lasting consequences from this. Yeah. We're just hoping I don't face any lasting consequences from this, because I personally think I'll be okay. I'm supposed to screw this into this, but this screw like does not fit in there. The screw just like there's two different types of screws. There's no other screws that were given to me, but there's no way that this screw is fitting in that hole. So don't know what to do about that one. I was thinking about using a pin vise and just like really delving into there, but then I ended up deciding not to, because I also feel like that might make it worse if I just like use a little bit and just drill into there and make this hole big enough. I feel like that might make it worse because there's also like this other stuff around it, and also I think I was afraid because the hole is really close to, I'm gonna zoom in so you can actually kind of tell what I'm talking about. This hole is super close to the edge of the part, and I was afraid if I made the part bigger, I might like expand too far. So I decided not to do that, or this clearance will just be too small, because it's already really small, and this clearance is just going to be, and I don't want that. So we're just going to move on, and we're going to hope that this isn't catastrophic. Which I don't think it will be. I think it's just like for extra security. It's there for like better posing. But like, I guess it'll be fine. I still think it'll be fine. There's like a piece in here that I also had to screw in. Which is still kind of insane to me how many screws there are in this Gunpla model kit. I'm like, I've dealt with screws before when they're like in an action base, but I don't think I've ever had to deal with this many screws. Like, I don't think I've ever had to deal with this many screws in like a regular Gunpla, which is kind of insane. But wow, I love Discord just deciding to update. Yeah. Update on my conditions in this apartment. It's a lot better now. The storms have finally happened, so the humidity has broken. It's very exciting. More of my apartment is usable now. This room is like kind of usable, which is nice. I say kind of. No, it's usable. It's a lot nicer now. My apartment thermostat no longer says 91 degrees, which is nice. Now it usually says like 83, which is a lot better. I still prefer my room because it has the air conditioner, but at least now I can like spend a chunk of time in here and not just be miserable, which is quite nice. It's quite nice. I'll be real with you guys. I think I definitely cut stream a little early. Well, I didn't cut the stream early, but like I would have got on for longer if it were not for how absolutely like god awful humid it was. It was terrible, and all I had was me and a little box fan, and it was not exactly doing a lot. But it's okay because we're here now. And it's a little nicer now. I think I'm probably gonna, because the other trade-off is that I just like didn't want to work on any model kit projects basically for the past like week and a half, as long as it's been like god awful humid. I just like haven't worked on any of my model kit stuff outside of when I was streaming because it was just terrible and I didn't want to be in this room. But now that the weather's gotten a bit better, I will probably pick back up on some of my projects and whatnot. I got some new model kits. I got some new model kits. So I went back to Connecticut. And I got I'm very excited for this. So Mechatro are like a series of model kits. They're pretty sick. And Mechatro did a collaboration with Evangelion. And so I was able to get, if they haven't been sold yet at the shop in Newington, we still have some of the Mechatro Evangelion kits. I only got one of them because I wanted to be nice and I didn't just want to buy them all in case other people want them. But I got the kit for Rei, and I'm probably going to be building her soon. I might build her after I finish God Gundam, honestly, because I don't think the Mechatro kits are super big, super insane. I haven't looked at her runners yet, but I will, and I will gauge it if that will be a small project or a big project. But I can't imagine it being a big project because they're the little bean robots. That's like the best way I can describe like the Mechatro We Go mechs, is that they're like little bean robots. They're really funky. I like them a lot. I got Rei. She's very cool. Because honestly, I have been eyeing the Shinji one for so long. I've been eyeing the Shinji Mechatro. There's a model kit store, not close to my apartment, but like that I go to sometimes. That's here in New York, and they have one of the Mechatro We Go kits, but it's Shinji, but it's really expensive because they upcharge a little bit. I'm like, oh, sucks. But luckily, the ones at Tabletop are not upcharged. So I got Rei. I got Rei. Very happy. I don't think we had Shinji. Is the other thing. Is if we had Shinji, I would have gotten Shinji. But Rei is my second favorite character in Evangelion. I love her so much. It's why I have one of my like holy grail figure lines is Radio Eva. The Radio Eva figures are so insanely nice, and I have Radio Eva Rei, like from the third release. So there's like currently 3 releases. There's 3 Radio Eva collabs. Actually, was it 2? I think 3 is coming out, but there's 2 out now, and the third one is still in production. I think it comes out next year. You can start to pre-order them, I believe. But the Radio Eva figures are really, really nice. They're like one of my favorite figure lines of all time is Radio Eva, and I have Rei. I love her a lot because she's a really good character, and honestly, I hate having collective brain rot because now I want everyone else. I want the other members of Radio Eva too. Because I'm like, well, I have Rei, and she looks really nice figure. She was really expensive. She was really expensive. I don't want to think about how much money I paid for Rei, because it was a lot. It was a lot of money. It's a lot of money. But I really love her. She was worth every penny. And I kind of want the rest of them now. I kind of want the rest of the Radio Evas now. They're really cool. I already did this one. Now I have this guy. And then I have this guy. And then I need F11. But the Radio Eva figures are really cool. And yeah. all this is to say, I love Evangelion. And I got one of the Mechatro collab with Evangelion model kits, and I'm very excited. I'm probably going to be building her after I finish the Gundam, depending on how intense she is. I'm not sure how intense they are. I imagine they're not that intense. I'd have to take a look at it if I want it to be a big project or a small project, because as you know, I like to punctuate big builds with small builds. I say while my 30-minute sister took like 3 weeks to put together, but that's because I have problems. But like, I still consider that a small project, versus this one is going to take us like a hot minute to build because it's a whole master grade. And it's God Gundam. It's G Gundam. I love G Gundam. Honestly, building this guy has made me want to rewatch G Gundam. What I want is I want G Gundam on DVD. That's what I want. I want G Gundam on DVD. I've been into DVD collecting, but again, I mostly collect DVDs because they're cheap. I like collecting DVDs because no one cares about DVDs, and thus they tend to be dirt cheap, which is pretty sick. The problem, though, is that sometimes there's like DVD collectors, and thus they are really expensive. Like, if I wanted to buy G Gundam on DVD, it's out of print. Like, if I wanted to buy G Gundam on DVD, expensive. I'm not a DVD collector like that. I'm not someone who's willing to spend like crazy amounts of money on DVDs. I like collecting them because they're dirt cheap. I can go to Goodwill and get DVDs for $1 each because no one cares about DVDs. Honestly, I can walk into Target and get a DVD for $5. I think I got Everything Everywhere All at Once on DVD for $10 at Target, which is kind of insane because I bought it like not long, like the year that it won an Oscar, because that's when the DVD came out, which is like kind of insane that I got it for $10. That I got it for $10 because no one cares about DVDs, but I care about DVDs, which I think I've explained before why I'm into DVD collecting, but like, crux of it is that streaming services paranoid me because you don't truly own your media and it can be switched around and taken. And also, like, I've suffered through, pieces of media that I love that just get hot potatoed between streaming services, and it sucks that I'm like, one of my favorite movies of all time is Pride and Prejudice from 2005 starring Keira Knightley. And I love rewatching it from time to time, but like at one point it's on Netflix, at one point it's on Amazon, at one point it's on Hulu. Like, I've seen that movie get hot potatoed so many times between streaming services, and it pisses me off because I don't want to pay for 6 different streaming services just so I can watch one movie. Personally, I think that's stupid. So now I just have it on DVD. And I don't have to think about that anymore. I just have it forever. I'd never have to think about it again of like, oh wait, is it on Netflix now? Is it on Amazon Prime now? Is it on YouTube Premium now? Like, how do I watch this? Is it on HBO? Like, how do I watch this? But now I don't have to because I just have the DVD. It's just there in my possession. This stays this way. Oh, it's together a bit more, but this stays this way. But yeah, I'm a DVD person. But the thing is, I don't like paying more than like. I don't think I've ever paid more than $20 for a DVD. I think even $20 is pretty steep. Even $20 is pretty steep. I think the only DVD what DVD have I paid $20 for? I think it was for, I want to say Liz and the Bluebird. I don't even think Liz and the Bluebird was $20. That's Liz and the Bluebird, one of my favorite movies of all time. I love Naoko Yamada. By the way, Naoko Yamada is coming out with a new film. The first thing she's directed since Liz and the Bluebird. I'm going insane, by the way. It's the only thing I'll ever talk about ever again. I believe it's called Colors of You. So Naoko Yamada started her career, at least like her directorial career, within Kyoto Animation. But as you know, that Kyoto Animation burnt down. They still kind of stuff. It's really rough. I love KyoAni. I, to this day, am a big KyoAni stan. Like, in my eyes, they've never put out anything bad. No, I don't know what Phantom Carnival, whatever that anime was. I don't remember what that was, so therefore, it doesn't exist. Because Kyoani has never produced anything bad. How does this fit onto this? I feel like they're just lying to me. I feel like they're just... I also think that I'm not. Like, this isn't together as much as it should be. Maybe that's what the screw is for. Maybe that's what the screw is for. That this is actually as together as it's supposed to be. There we go. Well, I wish I had like a vice. I wish I had like a vice that I could just like make the come together. Instead, I just hammer. Which actually kind of works. I'm not going to lie to you. It actually kind of worked. And the reason why this is sitting on here is because this is not pressed together enough. But also, I don't know how to make it pressed together in this. Because I literally hammered it and it wasn't enough. I literally hammered it. I could just keep hammering it. I think that might be a solution. Wow, I should probably have some sort of mute for that. Instead of just noise. Okay, okay. I don't know how it's supposed to go. Because I can tell that this is gap is supposed to be. But also wait, this goes here. I hammered this and I was like, baby, why isn't it fitting? It's because I put it on the wrong side. I put it on the wrong side. You know? Sometimes you put it on the wrong side and you don't realize. Because that happens to the best of us. Die. Facing this way. This also. Wait. Okay, yeah. This way. There we go. There we go. Arm is coming together. We are doing it. 6 spins. That's a little... But yeah, G Gundam is one that I want to own on DVD, but alas, because it's old and out of print, I'd have to buy it on like the secondhand market. It's expensive. Expensive. I hate collecting things. I hate being a collector of things. I very much am someone who gets like collector's brain rot. I like collecting Gunpla and figures and records and merch stuff and just like that. I'm like currently in the process of reorganizing, of like reformatting all of my merch stuff. Like the way I feel really bad. I have a good chunk of merch that just like lives in like a box basically. That I don't have displayed because I collect a lot of like acrylic keychains and stuff like that I think are cool, and I collect a lot of prints, but they just like I can't display them at all times. I'm trying to like min-max. I'm trying to like maximize the amount of merch I can display in my home. I have a lot of it. And I really could like do more with it. I have my bookshelves, I have my figure shelves. Like I'm trying to figure out a better way to maximize how to display all of my merch stuff because I have a lot of it and I feel like I could go about it better. Like I have a shelf in my room that I just like, I use it for a lot of things and I just took everything out of that shelf and I'm just going to reorganize everything. One part of that shelf has like figure on it. Has like a figure. I might put another figure because Anime NYC is next month and I know for a fact I'll buy at least one figure. I know who I am. I know I'll buy at least one scale. Honestly, these days, I'm not Morning. Good morning. Thanks for tuning. These days I'm not really in the market for like non-scales. I'm not really in the market for non-scales because I feel like I already have a lot of non-scales, and I feel like with non-scales, because they're like 30 to 50 bucks each, they're so easy to just buy. And I'm like, I can't be doing that. I have to stop. And so now I'm kind of only limiting myself to scale figures, which are a lot more expensive, and thus I only buy one like every few months, which is a lot easier of a pace to deal with. Yeah, the last time I bought a scale figure was back in like March. Was when I got Yuko and when I got Rei. And I think I went kind of crazy then. I think at Anime NYC I'll only buy one scale. I will try not to go that I'll try not to go that crazy. But no guarantees, honestly. But I'll try. But I've really only been collecting scale figures right now because I feel like I have enough non-scales. I do see a lot of really cute non-scales sometimes, but then I'm like, the real estate. Already I'm at a point where I'm like, I bought an Ironmouse Nendoroid because she's really cute and I love her design, and I remember like when her Nendo was announced, I really wanted to get it, but I missed the pre-order, so I wasn't able to get it, and I think she was a limited batch, so she didn't, like, if you missed the pre-order, like, that's it. And I managed to get one for like a good price not that long ago. Like, yeah, let's go. But now I look at her, I still have her in the box because I honestly am probably gonna resell her because I realize, like, I love the Ironmouse Nendo, I think too, but then I'm like, there's so many kind of other Nendos that I would rather have, because I like Ironmouse, but I wouldn't consider myself like an Ironmouse fan like that, if that makes sense. Not that I dislike Ironmouse, because I don't think it's legal to dislike Ironmouse. Personally, I think it's probably illegal to dislike Ironmouse, but I just am not like a super insane fan of hers. Like, I like her, but I'm not like a crazy Ironmouse fan. That could, but also, wait, what? This is it's the same on both sides. It's direct. I put this in it 180 degrees. Oh, that's kind of fun. Also, this isn't like sticking in here. Is there like a thing stick in there? Because it's not. Because it's not. Oh wait. It's supposed to go like, this hole is supposed to get in there like that? Is that what's supposed to happen? This goes here, and then this is here. Unless it's not. Unless I'm wrong, which I definitely am, because I feel like this could... I wonder if they're gonna sell an Android's figure of Gura in a Dodgers outfit. Genuinely, I don't think so, because of my realistic brain is like, probably not because of licensing, but like, I want it to be. The Gura in the Dodgers outfit is actually really cute. I thought that was so funny that Hololive collaborated with the Dodgers. that Hololive collaborated with the Dodgers. Like, that's so funny. Like, that's actually so funny that they collaborated with the Dodgers. And they just, like, imagine just being... How many people at that stadium were just, like, Dodgers fans, that they're just baseball fans, like, middle-aged men who like baseball, and now suddenly anime girls are singing to you. Like, what do you do about that? Like, what do you do about that? And I know it was just definitely one of those, like, internet ass stories. Oh, I can't say that. Like, internet hoax type stories. Definitely felt like one of those, like, internet hoax stories, but I thought it was really funny of, like, Gura saying, "Take me out to the ball game," and then the Dodgers started doing better. And now baseball fans, like, that don't care about VTubers are, like, buying Gura merch because she's, like, a good luck charm. The Dodgers started winning after she sang. So Gura is a good luck charm because sports fans are very superstitious. Which, honestly, I think is hilarious, and I really hope is true. This goes here. But yeah, I really hope they do have Gura merch of her in the Dodgers outfit. I thought that was really cute. But yeah, like, licensing is kind of hell for figures and stuff, because I think I did it. There's like, there's a series of figures called Bishoujo figures that Kotobukiya does, where they take like horror icons and make, or not even just horror icons, but they make like iconic characters and turn them into beautiful women. I want to say the most recent collab, besides the one that has already come out, besides one that's currently in pre-order, is Bishoujo Transformers. So they took the Transformers and they made like cute girl versions of them. And they do that, like, one of the most popular through lines in the Bishoujo line are they take like horror figures, like classic horror figures, like Jason and Beetlejuice and Pinhead, and they've turned them into hot girls. There's a Bishoujo Chucky. She's actually kind of cute. They're actually really fun. I love the Kotobukiya Bishoujo girls. They're really cute, even if it's like the guy from Texas Chainsaw Massacre, but like, what if he was a cute girl now? It's really fun. They're really fun. And recently, Bishoujo re-released a bunch of their horror ones. Because a lot of the time, like, with figures, they come out and that's kind of just it. But they re-released a bunch of their horror ones. But one of the ones that didn't get a re-release was Pinhead, which is rough because Clive Barker regained rights to Hellraiser in 2019. Or no, it was 2021. It was a few years ago. Yeah, so Clive Barker retained his rights to Hellraiser, which on the surface is a good thing, but Clive Barker also kind of just doesn't want to do anything with the rights to it. Hello! Thanks for tuning. I'm struggling to make God Gundam art, but we're getting there. But because of suddenly the licensing change, Kotobukiya was not allowed to re-release Bishoujo Hellraiser or Bishoujo Pinhead, which is kind of sad. I have a friend who's super into Hellraiser and Pinhead, and they really wanted Bishoujo Pinhead because she's cute. But now your only hope is the resale market, which sucks. But recently they announced Bishoujo Sadako, which I'm pre-ordering because I love a lot of it. I just love the character designs from a lot of the Bishoujo line. They're just really cool and funky. Okay, wait. I already built this one. Oh, I put the stickers. So where did I put the decals? Here's the decals. It's decal time. I didn't even properly look at like what kind of decals are in this kit. I just assume, I think in my past experience, I'm a little sad that this only has stickers. In my past experience, a lot of master grades tend to have like dry rubs or water slides because they're master grades, but I guess this is like an older master grade, so they don't have dry rubs or water slides, which makes me a little sad. I just have stickers. I'm probably not going to use them because if it's stickers, I don't really use them, but I do like the little metallic like accent decals, so I do use those. But if it's just like a regular old sticker, like basically everything that's on this sheet, I'm probably not going to use because they're just regular old stickers. That makes me. I think Mr. God Gundam deserves better. God Gundam is, and I honestly kind of want to rewatch G Gundam now because I haven't watched G Gundam in forever, and it's really. I hope you guys are all having a wonderful Saturday. I don't know why, I just forgot what day it was. I don't know why, I just like forgot that today is Saturday. To this. So I did this one. I was like, I think it's this one. I want to say it's this one that had. It's more like I can't tell which letter denotes, but I will assume it's this one. I'll assume it's this one. Definitely good at cows. Promise I'm edible. Oh man. Focusing on getting the detail and that I forgot that there's a camera that I make sure that what I'm doing is occurring. Oh, speaking of camera. Why did you decide to stop working right while I'm trying to put on it? Wait. I just abandoned the it's like sometimes it's like you're good, like get it sometimes you abandon all tweezers in my fingers. Okay. Let's go! Part 1. I have to get the other side. I have to get the other side. Which is... I got spooked out by one of the screws moving. By the way, I am hyper paranoid about bugs. I hate bugs. And I have been getting bugs lately. Because my theory is that they're coming in through the air conditioner, because that kind of is just like a portal to the outside. And I think not like my apartment is gross, I promise. I'm not like bad. I'm not that bad. I'm not that bad, but they're like stuff that I feel like if it was because my apartment is it's not. I don't really get flies. It's more like moths and lightning bugs. Moths and lightning bugs that I get a lot. We've done it. We've done it. This actually looks really nice. Usually I'm not a decal fan, but this actually looks quite nice. But I'm definitely probably not using these guys, because they're just stickers. I'm a little disappointed that MG God Gundam has stickers. Has this many stickers and no like... and none that aren't stickers. is usually, like I mentioned earlier, like I mentioned earlier, a lot of MGs tend to have like water slides or something that's not just. This goes in here. Okay. I don't know if this is supposed to be kind of a loose fit like this, but I suppose we'll find out. I also think I did it backwards. No, I did it. I did it. Let's be this way. Yeah. This came apart. This is fine. This is fine. This is everything is okay. Everything. Definitely did not. Beetles are based. I actually don't like beetles either. I don't like any bug. It's terrible. Even bugs that people like lightning bugs and like ladybugs, I still hate them. I don't want them near me. Like, it's not like I will kill them out in the wild. Like, if I'm outside and there are bugs out there, I'm like, that's fair. They live out there. But like, if it's in my house and I see a lightning bug, it's toasted. It's gone. Because they're big. They look like freaky little beetles. If you ever look at a lightning bug, like when it's not just like a little speck of light, they look like freaky little beetles, and I don't like them. And I don't like them. Well, I guess we're making the right arm and not the left arm. Unless there's a way that I can. I'm not entirely sure. I'm not entirely sure. But that way. I feel like I can just spin this. Wow, we did it. We just spun it around. I guess that is possible to just spin it. Now I have to reattach this guy that I feel like I'm always doing wrong. Okay, and now we can put this shoulder bit back on. Now we can bit back on, so I feel rotating the correct way. I feel like it's rotating correctly. There we go. Other arm. Now this guy, which I guess goes through here. And oh god, now I find the E. Let's see. Oh wait, he's got his little rubber hands. I forgot. I forgot the hands on this kit are rubberized, which is really funky. This is really, really cool that the hands on this kit are all like the whole hand is just like, in case you couldn't tell by this runner, the whole thing is rubbery, which I think is cool. And lends very interesting. That's kind of the funky thing about a lot of these master grades, is that they have some really funky like mechanical stuff going on in here, which is usually like not something that you see a lot among. I still feel like I'm doing something wrong with. Okay, we're taking this guy out. We're starting fresh. Okay, I'm going to try. Is this guy? Is there a piece that I didn't attach? Wait. Wait 1 second. That out. Take that out. Oh! Because it was upside down. Because I did upside down. Wow, I feel a little bad now. And there's also supposed to be this little piece that's sticking out that's not sticking out. Well, that's my fault. Okay. This thing. Wow. It's supposed to go this way. What? Oh my god, I did it. I did it correctly. No wonder none of this was working out. No wonder all of this was like not working out. Wow, it's literally just because I faced it wrong way. Who could have thought? Who could have thought that putting on a piece upside down would like make things kind of messed up? I can't believe this, honestly. I can't. I also realize now, okay, so this goes, I want this here, and I want that there. How this piece is meant to go. This goes through here, and then I put on his little rubber hand, which I still think is really cute. I love the little rubber hands. I think it's such a fun little detail. I put his thing. Apply the shoulder guy. And he's got an arm. Got an arm. This looks really sick. Oshi no Season 2 release, nobody told me. I forgot Oshi no Season 2 dropped. I am like semi caught up on the manga. Okay. I'm like semi caught up on the manga. I also genuinely kind of forgot that season, because I don't know why in my brain I thought season 2 was coming out in the fall. I thought season 2 was coming out next season. And so in my brain I'm like, oh yeah, Oshi no Season 2 comes out in the fall. But I guess it doesn't. I guess it's coming out now, which is kind of crazy. I am also going to drink some water because I'm thirsty. I have very unfortunate news regarding my Animal Crossing water bottle, and that it's been replaced because my my family went to Europe. My mom brought me my Animal Crossing water bottle has been with me through so much. It's very beat up. It looks like terrible and it looks very beat up, but it's dear to me because it's my Animal Crossing water bottle. But my mom hated it so much because she's like, why do you keep using that thing? It's so beat up. And when they were in France, my mom got me a new water bottle that's like from a fancy French bakery. That's really cool. I like that it's got like a little wood top and it's got a little handle. But it's quite unfortunate that I still have the Animal Crossing water bottle. Okay, it's not like I threw it out. I think I would cry if I had to throw out my Animal Crossing water bottle. But unfortunately now I use this other one because it's not beat up, and I still feel bad about abandoning my Animal Crossing water bottle. Simply the fate of the world. As much as it pains me, I had to put my Animal Crossing water bottle away because it did look really bad. It was pretty terrible. And now we do this again. Was there anything that was ×2 on here? I don't think so. Oh, this guy was supposed to make ×2. I'll do that. I'll make this the ×2 because I think then the other step is the other arm. But yeah, I feel bad, but rest in peace. My Animal Crossing water bottle will be missed. Is there 2 F runners? Is that the deal that's happening? Yes, it is. I was like, where's the other one? If they want me to make 2 of these. But yeah, rest in peace, my Animal Crossing water bottle. I mean, it's just sitting in my cabinet now. It's sitting in my cabinet now, unfortunately. Because now I have a water bottle that's not super big up. And also, this one's got a cool little handle on it, which makes it very useful to just like hook onto things. But I would show it, but it's got a reflective top, which means I am in danger of showing my camera, and I fear what will happen if you look into yourself. No, that's just, who knows? It could cause catastrophic effects that we don't know. So, I'll show off because it's too shiny. And I forgot. Oh yeah, I have to deal with this goddamn runner again because the runner organization on this is crazy. The way the numbering scheme works is like actual insanity. I'm like, why is anything even numbered on here when the numbers like are not in order? The numbers are like not really in order. And I'm like, why is this on the side? Why is this here? I don't know. I don't know why they choose to do it that way. Wait, there is significance as to which goes on what side? Wait, I will need a second to figure out which is. That's exactly what I feel like will happen. Is you guys will stare into the abyss, and the abyss will stare back. Then you'll all go insane, and then the world's gonna be over. So, unfortunately, that can't happen. I've already caused enough apocalypses. I've started a new I started a new D&D campaign with some of my friends. Usually I prefer to be a DM than a player, but I have a good friend who's insanely good at DMing, and if he's running a campaign, you bet I'm in there. You bet I'm in there! Because he's a really good DM, and I always like playing in his game. And so he started a new campaign, and that's what we're doing, and I really love what's going on in the plot right now. So my character, okay, just to get it out of the way, yes, she is inspired by Marcial, okay? I'm not beating the Marcial inspiration allegations, because she's an elf who does necromancy, except she's, like, not just Marcial. She's like, that's kind of where the similarities end, where she's an elf and she does necromancy. And she is, quote unquote, blonde. She is allegedly blonde. But it's more complicated than that, because basically her whole deal is that she is guilty of committing necromancy and also manslaughter. She's basically on the run for necromancy and manslaughter crimes, because basically he commits necromancy, okay, and then turns out the subject of her necromancy kills someone else, and she's like, oh, oops. And then they're like, you just commit necromancy and manslaughter, and she's like, I'm gonna go. And so now she's on the run from Fantasy Interpol, and basically she steals someone's identity and is now on the run from Fantasy Interpol for committing manslaughter and necromancy. The other thing that I love about her is that she's kind of just a terrible person. She's from, like, a noble elf house, and she's very, like, not vain, but she's very entitled. She's very entitled and always, like, just thinks she's better than everyone. Because in her eyes, like, that's the way the world is meant to be. That's the only world she's ever lived in, is one in which she's better than everyone else. because of her background and her being an elf. And it's really funny. And completely accidentally, one of the other player characters is her arch-nemesis, like by accident. Because his character is like a cop. He's literally a cop from the same city that she's from, and he's like an actually really good cop. Um, who cares a lot about like justice and doing the right thing, and is really good at like knowing these things, is really good at investigating, because he spec'd like all of his points into sense motive and diplomacy. This is D&D 3.5, where skill points like matter a lot. Um and so it's really funny. And every time they interact, I have to try so hard. I have to try so hard because he also knows my character's family and like knows is literally like you was a cop in that same city. And so I have to try so hard for them to not find out like who my character is and also what I've done. But also the turn of events that's happened so far is really funny because obviously like it's kind of inevitable that he's gotten very suspicious of my character because she's really dodgy, and I purposefully like wanted her to be a little stupid because she has like an element of naivety to her because of how sheltered she is. Because of how like she's a little rich girl. Like that was her upbringing. She's a little rich girl, and there's like no matter what happens, there's always like a sense of naivety and from being that sheltered. And so she kind of just assumes that like things are going to work out for her because they always have. And so, which I mean, like we are trying a little bit because she doesn't want to get caught. Obviously, she knows she basically got kicked out of her family, not because of the manslaughter stuff, because she got caught. They don't actually care that much that she commit manslaughter. They care that she got caught, and that reflects badly on the family, and that's bad. She's like, God, but yeah, she's on the run from Fantasy Interpol. And the really funny turn of events is that he's gotten really suspicious of her because she does really suspicious things, but also I've saved his life twice and he's indebted to her, and so he can't like do that much about it because if it were not for my character, he would have died twice. So it's extra funny, and I think it's hilarious, the current dynamic that's happening, because they're like, it's my job as a officer of someone who values justice and the law, pursue this and figure out obviously something really sketchy going on. But it's also like, I've also saved your life twice. And now you're basically, because, spoiler, she commit necromancy on him at one point because he was about to die. He literally did die, because in 3.5 it's very easy to die. In 5th ed, if your character hits negative hit points equal to what their total HP is, that's when their permadeath happens. But in 3.5, it's once you hit negative 10, it's over. Doesn't matter what level you are, doesn't matter how many total HP you have, once you hit negative 10, your character is permanently dead. Is like dead. Not just unconscious, like dead. And so my character, my DM didn't make it easy for me, but I just lucked into rolling really well. And yeah, my character's like, I was like, I have the opportunity to do the funniest thing ever right now, and I did. I brought him back to life, and now he's basically my little Frankenstein creature, which is honestly really funny. And I've been having a great time. I've been having a really good time. I'm also in the works of, man, I feel like I say this every time, but I feel like I'm real about it now, where I really want to get my Fabula Ultima campaign off the ground. It's a campaign that I've been cooking for a while. And I've definitely talked about the concepts that I have behind it and some of the world building I've done for it, and I'm very, like, I just really want to run this campaign. I think it's really cool and it's really neat, and I want to get people in there, and I want to play this game because I like this campaign. But and then it's like, oh yeah, this campaign would be really cool. I think it would be fun to run. But then I'm like, oh, it's my campaign, and I have to like put it together. My mom is watching Miraculous Ladybug in the other room, and I think that's neat. That's so cool. I used to be really into Miraculous Ladybug. I actually really like at least earlier seasons, I actually really like Miraculous Ladybug. That's really cool. But for whatever reason, I only like the French version. I don't like the English version. I only like the French one. But I do think Miraculous Ladybug is really... I think in later seasons, I stopped watching it because it just got kind of redundant and wasn't really going anywhere. But I still think it's neat, and I think that's really cool that your mom watches it. I hope she has fun. I hope she has fun. That's really cool. But yeah, I am like really psyching myself up to like start my Fabula campaign, which is, I think, part of the thing that kind of stuck with me is I wanted to do a bit of homebrew mechanics for it, and it just like, I'm just lazy. I'm just lazy. I'm like, I have to, my homebrew mechanic is one of the main concepts that I have for this campaign is that I want it to be Monster Hunter-esque. I like the idea of kind of have this like guild monster of the week type setting, and you can craft stuff, because like running something like Monster Hunter in D&D just doesn't really work, because D&D crafting is really, really difficult. Crafting is super difficult in D&D. But in Fabula, crafting is like not as intense of a thing, and custom weapons and rewards are like built into the game. Like it has the infrastructure for that, for like augmented weapons and augmented spells and things like that. So I feel like having a Monster Hunter like esque mechanic is a lot easier to do in like a Fabula system than it is in like a D&D system. And so I really want to do that, and I think it's really neat. But I just really need to get this campaign off the ground because I want to do it so bad, and yet I don't. I'm terrible. But kind of related to that, I watched a video not that long ago about like kind of alternate DMing, not alternate DMing, but like a way of DMing that's more player driven, which I like. All of my campaigns have always been very player driven. I like my stories to be player driven. The way I tend to structure my campaigns is I'll come up with like a concept. And I'll come up with like the themes that I want to convey. But the story itself will be built from the characters, like the player character stories. Which I've always preferred doing. And I was watching a video explaining something similar of like having more player proactive stories, which I'm not against. I think a lot of them, I still think it was a very cool video, and I will probably be implementing like some elements of it, of like, because in a lot of like more traditional campaign structures, it tends to be like the player character stuff tends to be reactive versus proactive. It's a lot more like, oh, this thing gets stolen, we have to go find it. The bad guys do this thing and we have to go beat them. This thing happens and we have to go respond to it. Tends to be a lot of campaign structure. Which is fine, but it puts a lot of the onus on the DM to write everything, and just like might not be as fun for the players. Which is, I think it's fine for people that are starting out in TTRPGs if you to play a more like reactive role versus a proactive one. But this style of DMing suggested a lot more, like, it's basically suggested to be entirely player driven, where the players have goals and the things that happen on the day-to-day are dictated by like the goals of the player, and every encounter has to be working towards like something related to a player goal. even like the bosses and the overarching plot and everything like is directly tied to a player goal, which I'm not against. I do something very similar to that to begin like anyway. I do something very similar to that anyway, but I will say, because they were even like, the main plot points and the main bosses are completely dictated by the players, and it gets to a point where I'm like, well then what do I do as a DM? What do I do as a DM? I like writing stuff. I want to be able to balance that of like having a very player driven story, but I still have like a story I want to tell through my campaign. I still have like something I want to convey. I don't just want the entire thing to be dictated by the players and I'm kind of just there to roll dice. You know? I feel like that's not as fun for me. But, I mean, if this style of DMing is good for someone else, I'm happy for you. But like, because the thing is, it's not like I'm against player-driven stuff completely. I do prefer player-driven story. I like having a player-driven campaign. I do something that I stole from my friend who is a very good DM, called love letter character writing. And basically, once all the players have their characters and their concepts kind of ironed out, you basically give them like you ask them a series of questions that both help flesh out the character a little bit and their character motivations and their character goals, and it helps you let the player decide what will happen to the character in the context of the world. And sometimes it's left kind of intentionally vague. Like, you'll make a choice, but you won't really know what it means until later, or what the significance is until later, because ultimately what you're choosing is what's going to happen to your character within the context of the world, which I think is interesting, and I like doing that, because that way it's still very player driven. The actual plot is still the like day-to-day plot of the campaign is still very much driven by like the players and their characters. That's the other thing that I'm always worried about whenever I'm playing TTRPG is I expect a lot of character stuff. I am very into the story, the role play, and I expect like a lot of character stuff. And I've played with people that don't care about character stuff, and I realize that's just like not as fun for me. And it makes me sad because I've played with people that I'm friends with, but they just like don't care about story and don't pursue anything, and I'm like, I'm just not having fun. I'm just not having fun participating in this and DMing this. But because again, the other thing is like, I base a lot of my campaign progression off of like what the characters are doing, what player characters' stories are, what their goals are, what their motivations are, is kind of what dictates the progression of the campaign. And so if the player doesn't come in with like goals and plans for progression, then nothing's going to happen. Basically nothing is going to happen, which is probably not fun for a lot of people if that's not like what you're looking for. And it's like, well, I guess that's just how it is. And like previously I was DMing something and I kind of quit DMing it because it just wasn't fun for me anymore. Nothing was progressing. Most of the players like didn't have any form of like character backstory or like real like characterization. They're kind of just there to fight and be in the system, which is not like inherently bad. If that's how you want to play a TTRPG, live your best life. But it's not how I play TTRPG. And it's just like, it's just kind of rough. It's just kind of rough. I felt bad. And I'm trying to run another campaign. And I still have a little bit of that PTSD of like, listen, if you don't care enough about your character, then I'm not gonna have as much fun. You have to care about your story. Like, I like having sessions and whatnot that might just be almost entirely RP, because I like story. The story has to happen. And if you don't care about the story, then we're not gonna have as much fun. But I also want my friends to have fun. I'm not like a monster. I want my friends to have fun. That's the other thing of like, when you're playing in a group, I like the balance. I like the balance of friends and acquaintance. I like having a balance of friend and acquaintance. That's part of why I really enjoy playing in that other group, because it's usually like the DM is someone I'm good friends with, and usually one of my friends who introduced me to them in the first place is another person that I'm also very good friends with. But usually the other players are people who tend to be acquaintances, like who tend to be friends of the DM or friends of my other friends. So it's like mutual friends, people I'm not super acquainted with. So I get a mix of like playing with people that I am very good friends with, but also people I'm not as acquainted with. And I feel like that generates a very nice, very like, because it's like mutual friends, like they're friends with the DM, but not really with me, but we're all still like, that's like still a bridge, not like we're all complete strangers, like we have mutual friends. But also like I do still have a couple people in there that I am very good friends with, so it's not like I'm just with a bunch of people I don't know. I feel like that way everyone kind of just focuses a lot more on story and the game that we're playing, and it's fun because you get to know people. Get to know people like that, and I think it's a very fun experience. Because that's like one things that I worry about when I'm playing in groups with people that are just like, we are all friends already, we're all friends with each other already, is that it's very easy for things to get derailed. And again, it's not like I'm trying so hard not to sound like a monster, because I like when people have fun. I like when people are joking around. I like when people are like having fun about it. I think it's neat. But I also like still want people to care about the story, you know? Like, I think when playing in groups with just friends, sometimes it's easy for everything to kind of devolve into just like, haha, we're just goofing off now. Because I've experienced that before. But also I've had, like, not to say that like it's always bad, that I hate DMing friend groups. I hate DMing my friends, actually. No, it's like, it's just something that's happened before. It's not something that happens every time, but it's something that's happened before. And I'm just paranoid, and I haven't DM'd in like, and so I'm like, oh. At least DM'd like a group of my friends in a hot minute, because I'm like, oh, Tiff, everything falls apart, and I die. Everything falls apart and then I die, basically, is my greatest fear. Is my greatest fear is everything falls apart and nothing's working and then I die. Wait a second. Are these... wait. Was I supposed to use these screws? There's other screws? Wait. I thought these screws were exclusively for Domon Kashu, so I didn't touch them. But now I'm looking at it and I'm like, wait, was I supposed to use these screws? When I was like, the screws don't fit, what's happening? I'm like, wait a second. Did they just give me the wrong ones? Was I supposed to use different ones? And I think I was. I think this may be comebackable. We may have saved... things might not all lost. Might be able to come back from this. Because this... bolt... well, it's not a bolt, but like... ow. I think it's already too late for the other one. I've already put together the arm, and I guess if it doesn't work out, if something bad happens to that, I don't think it will, but like, wow, I figured it out. I just used the wrong screw. I just used the wrong screw. I just didn't realize there's a whole other screw thing going on that I just thought was, because I don't know why it was packaged like that. Okay, because Domon Kashu is in his special little Domon Kashu bag, and why would they put screws unrelated to Domon Kashu in the special little Domon Kashu bag? I just assumed that I could just leave him in there, and everything in there is just for Domon Kashu. Because they had a separate bag of screws that was in the same little bag as, like, one of the runners. Or I think it was in the bag with the decals and stuff. I just assumed that this is the screws for the model kit. And the other screws were the Domon Kashu screws. That's so confusing. Why would they package it like? Because yeah, those screws, that screw fit. Because the screw that was in with the rest of the model kit didn't fit into that opening. And I was like, am I doing something wrong? What's happening? Turns out I was using the wrong one. There's a correct screw. It was in the Domon Kashu bag. Even though it's not just Domon Kashu screw. That. Why would they do that to me? Honestly, that was so cruel. They would put the correct screw in the Domon Kashu bag that I thought was a separate entity. But I've already given up on trying to understand the packaging of this model and the organization of this model kit because it's already kind of rough. It's kind of rough. The numbering doesn't make sense. Numbering doesn't make sense. There's several things on this model kit that just doesn't make sense, but I suppose that's just par for the master grades because some of them go kind of crazy. The fact that there's screws in this model kit is crazy. Gundam model, kind of crazy. But well, I guess that's just how the cookie crumbles. I need this F16. That's it. 17. Where's the Sea Runner? Where did the Sea Runner? I want to say the Sea Runner. Yes, it is. Here's the Sea Runner. Excellent. Hopefully, dang together. I'm very excited. Complete topic change. I'm going to a planetarium today. I'm very excited. I can't not talk about it because usually I wait to talk about things until after they happen because I'm paranoid about internet safety. I know there's exactly like 2 people that watch this stream and hopefully neither of you are stalkers, but like, or you're just people I know in real life and thus I don't think you can stalk me because we're friends in real life. I guess friends in real life can still be stalkers. You don't have to be parasocial because we're just social. But I'm like, you don't have to be parasocial. You're already just social. I'm so paranoid about like internet safety though, so I try not to mention like what I'm doing until I've already done it. And so, but I will talk about it anyway because I'm not specifying which one I'm going to. But I'm going to a planetarium today. I'm very excited. I haven't been to a planetarium in a very long time. I think the last time I was in a planetarium, I was like in my first, I think it was my first or second year of college. I want to say it was my first year of college though, is what I'm leaning towards. I'm pretty sure it's when I took Physics 1. It's when I took college level Physics 1, which was my first year. I took regular, well, I don't think it was it Physics 100? It might have been like a special funky, it was physics. I just know that it was physics. It was not Physics 2, because I remember when I took Physics 1, my professor was really cool. I really liked her. She was great. She taught me she taught us vector calculus. Because the other thing is, for whatever reason at my university, linear algebra was not a required course for engineers, even though a lot of what we do involves linear algebra. So what they expect is just like, if you don't, because it's not required, a lot of people still took it anyway because it just makes sense, but you didn't necessarily have to. So what a lot of courses did is kind of just teach you bits and pieces of linear algebra. And so she taught me quite a bit of linear algebra and quite a bit of like vector calculus and stuff that I would not have understood were it not for how she taught me. And one of the things that she did is at the end of the semester, she was like, if you guys, not at the end, but also in the middle of the semester, she would give us like little bonus assignments, and she's like, okay, as your bonus assignment, go to the Natural History Museum and like write me a little thing about like cool stuff. And I'm like, let's do it. Like, it was so cool. And so I had a lot of fun just going to the Natural History Museum and doing my little extra credit assignments. And I think that was the last time I went to a planetarium, because I went to the Rose Kennedy Space Center in the Natural History Museum of Natural History, which is an amazing museum, by the way. One of my favorite museums. Like, the Natural History Museum is huge, and I used to go there like quite often because I lived not far from there, or at least like the train from my campus to the Museum of Natural History is like 10 minutes. It's like I can take a direct line from my campus to Natural History Museum. And also, because the other thing is, I think the two big museums in the city that people think about are the Museum of Natural History and the Met, so the Metropolitan Museum of Art. I actually didn't go to the Met that often because they're on opposite sides of Central Park. So the Natural History Museum is on the west side of Central Park, while the Met is on the east side of Central Park. And I just like had no reason to go to the Upper East Side, because going from west to east in the city is very difficult. It's quite difficult unless you're downtown. If you have to cut across, if you want to go somewhere that cuts across Central Park, like, kind of your best option is to walk across Central Park. Because if I wanted to take the train from where I lived on Upper West to, or even my campus, which is still kind of technically on Upper West, but it was like at the very corner of Central Park, it's like on the border of Midtown and Upper West. I still had to take a train down to like Times Square and then take another train back up East Side, because there's no lines that run in between. You just had to go across Central Park, and so it was just not easy for me to get to the Met and for me to get to the East Side in general unless I just walked across Central Park. So I didn't really go to the Met that often. But the Natural History Museum, I went like several times. I went there several times because I can just go there. And also, it's pay what you want. A lot of the like state-owned museums are pay what you want. Stuff like the Guggenheim is a privately owned museum, so you still have to pay money for that. I mean, technically it's good to pay money at all of them because they're all donation-based. So you can show up to the Natural History Museum and just pay what you want. You can say $0 and get in for free, but you can also like donate and be nice, which is what I tried to do. But also I was a broke college student, so I couldn't always. But it was still very nice, and I loved that museum. I used to go there all the time. And that was the last time I'd ever been to a planetarium, was I went to the planetarium in the Rose Kennedy Space Center. Pretty cool. I love the Rose Kennedy Space Center. It's very nice. I love the Natural History Museum. I kind of want to go there again sometime, because I haven't been there in years. Last time I've been there was probably when I still went to school there, which was several years ago, which was not since like 2019? Yeah, not since 2019. But it's a very neat museum. And 2017 or 2018, probably the last time I've been in a planetarium. Which I really... But I'm going to another planetarium today, and I'm very excited. I'm going to a planetarium today, and I'm very excited. And I love astronomy. I I just love astronomy. I don't know if I mentioned it that often, but I am very into astronomy. It's like one of my goals in life. It's like my goal in life is to study astrophysics. Like, it's why I majored in what I did. And it's like my ultimate trajectory, the trajectory that I want to do with my life. And I feel like I don't talk about that often because one, it gets very complicated very quickly, and also I feel like this entire stream is already like hyperfixation central, which is just like what happens. But for whatever reason with astronomy, I'm like a little bit I'm like extra hesitant about it. So I think I've gotten like, I don't know, I feel like I've gotten more pushback about it when I talk about astronomy, because even though stuff like anime is also a lot of jargon and nonsense, sounds like nonsense if you don't care about it, astronomy is also like that, but I think a little bit worse, for whatever reason, because I just feel like I've gotten more pushback when I start, like, just talking endlessly about astronomy, because it gets boring. I feel like it gets boring very quickly. So I try to avoid it a little bit, unless I'm in a context where I know, like, people will want to be there. Like, when I'm talking to other people who are also really into astronomy, I'll go in on it. But, like, I don't know, might be a fun thing to talk about. What might be a fun little, like, stream idea at the time is to have, like, a stream where I talk about astronomy or I answer questions about it or something. I think that might be fun, because I, in fact, do know quite a bit about it. I'm not an astronomer. I want to be one. Well, I don't want to be an astronomer. I want to be an astrophysicist is what I want to do. But I still, like, have a degree in aerospace engineering. Wow, which is kind of crazy to say, but I do have one of those. I do that. But funky. But I do still, like, have spent most of my life studying astronomy. Like, it's one of those things I got into when I was a little kid. I got into astronomy. What was it? I think it might have just been or it might have been my downstairs. They also do things. They live here. They do things sometimes. Because I think I'm right above. That's where I'm above them. And I not terrible of a tenant. I try my best to not be that terrible of a tenant. But I'm not perfect. Is how it is. It's just how it is. Did I put this on wrong? I don't think I did. This fits here pretty. This guy does not. So I think I did do it. But it's just like kind of a loose fit. And I'm trying really hard to, like, not have this fall off while I put this on. I don't know how I did it on the other one, because it's one that I had to do twice. For each arm. Alright, did I struggle with this when I did it this time? Okay. I don't know how. I think I've done it. Oh, another loud noise that I definitely think was my downstairs tenants. I don't know what they're doing. I don't know what they're doing there. My tenants, my downstairs neighbors. I'm not the. My downstairs neighbor. I'm a tenant. People downstairs are technically. That's the life we're living. Doing a nice little stretch because I'm I might cut it just a little bit early today because I have tickets for a specific show at the planetarium that has a set time. I'm supposed to put this in here. I was supposed to get this guy. I put them all together. Simple. It's supposed to be. Guy goes. This guy. Where it's supposed to be. I'm trying to will it so that it's what I want it to do. I think that may be an effective strategy to will the pieces to do what I want them to do. And so far, it seems to be working. Excellent. But yeah. Let's see what else I have. But yeah. I want to start my Fabula Ultima campaign, which I've talked about. I've been doing film photography. I've been continuing, but I got some black and white film, and I've never shot in black and white before, but I have a roll of black and white film that I've been, and it's not completed yet. I got it because I got it on a cloudy day, because it's a cloudy day and I needed to buy some new film, and I was like, no, what film would look good on when it's cloudy too is black and white. Because a lot of the time I've been using like color film, which is kind of just looks best when it's bright out, like when the conditions are very bright. But a lot of the time when it's like cloudy out, color film just doesn't look as good, especially when you have like lower ISO color film. Is you really need those bright conditions, unless you have like a flash setup, which I don't. So that's just how it is. But something. Oh no, it's just this guy. And then I'm repeating what I did before. Is I need F11, but I've learned from my mistakes this time. I've learned and I've grown. Hopefully I won't. And I've grown as a person. I'm a new one. I'm changed. I have gotten smarter. Unless I did. But yeah, I'm thinking about how it might be a fun stream idea. I wanted kind of like an astronomy based stream. I mean, I'll still be doing Fabula, but I'll talk a bit more about astronomy stuff, and I could probably answer questions, stuff like that. Because at least I'll try to answer questions that I know how to answer. Because there are still things that I don't know. But I do still really love talking about astronomy, because I forget sometimes that there's things that I consider very fundamental and basic. You know that one XKCD comic that's like... the two people that are like experts in a field? I don't claim to be an expert because I'm not like an academic like that, but at least not yet. But the two people who are like experts in their field, and they're like, oh yeah, of course we have to like, we can't assume that the regular person has the same level of basic knowledge that I do, as we do as experts. They're like, yeah, of course. The basic person probably only knows about this hyper-specific thing and this hyper-specific thing that the average person definitely doesn't know. And it's like that kind of thing where it's like, it's really hard to get like what is common knowledge and what isn't when you're really into something. And especially like when you've been into something for a long time. And you mostly interact, like, I mostly talk about astronomy with other people that are also really into astronomy. So the level of base knowledge that's assumed is pretty high. Um, and I forget sometimes that there's some things that like I don't even realize are not common knowledge. Um, like yeah, does the average person not know where stars come from, like where they're made and how the universe like puts them together? Wow, I've encountered that before where I mentioned something and like what? I'm like oh yeah. And I have fun explaining something to someone that I thought was like very fundamental, but turns out it's like a whole fun new thing that they've gotten to learn. Like I don't want it. Like I think it's really fun to watch people learn really cool, fascinating things that I learned a long time ago. So it feels like it's kind of lost its magic a little bit because it's something I've known for a long time. But to see someone learn it for the first time and realize how insanely cool astronomy and the universe and physics is really fun. And that's kind of the nice thing about kind of learning that different people have different bases of basic knowledge than I do. And I think that's really it might be fun to have like an astronomy-esque stream where I just talk about astronomy stuff and I have a good time. Good time. And hopefully you will all have a good time because I don't just want it to be me talking about things that no one cares about. Which to be fair, I do anyway. So to be fair, I might do it anyway. To be fair, I might do it anyway. Because I always just talk about things whether or not I think people will care. It's never really stopped me. On this. Die. Let's go. Bring back Mr. F1. See, now I know what I did wrong, and this time I'm not putting it upside down. I'm basically a genius now, by the way. I'm basically a genius now, by the way. That knows everything. Wow, I love when my camera does that. Come on. Come on. There we go. Because sometimes it doesn't like operate. I'm thinking about getting a new microphone. I don't think I'll get a new camera because my current camera works pretty good. I mean, sometimes it doesn't cooperate with me, but for the most part, I think it's a pretty solid camera, and I think it's not worth like spending $50 billion. The other thing is that I don't do a lot of digital photography anymore. I don't do a lot of digital photography anymore. Now that I've gotten into like film, I just like have not really enjoyed a ton of digital photography. Because film is super fun. Turns out film is really fun. I love that you have to be a lot more conscious about things. I love the look of film. It just looks nice. It is what appeals to me, and I love that you have to be a lot more conscious with how you take pictures. And it's like a little birthday gift when I submit my film and I gotta wait. When I take a picture and I think about how I have to wait 5 to 7 business days to know what it looks like. It's always fun. This goes this way, and this guy. In it. Sticks. Wow! That's so fun! Oh god, now I have to do decals again. Decals again. I'm mortal. Stickers. I will handle first. It's the more annoying. because it's now we concentrate. I've even gotten better. I'm this. I'm a genius. No, I've also been, as always, reading my garbage webtoons. As always, reading my garbage webtoons. You know what else I've been doing? I think I mentioned this before, but I've been rewatching Fullmetal Alchemist. Because I want to. One, I haven't watched them since like in over a decade. It's definitely been like over a decade since I've watched either of them. I really love Fullmetal Alchemist, but also I'm of the opinion, okay, that whoever tells you to just skip original, people that just like only, that just like kind of hate original and don't think that, and just think that Brotherhood is better than original and that you don't have to bother with it, I think is wrong. Because I think original like has its charms. I think original is good, okay? I think the way it handles the ending is not the best, because obviously like the reason why it is the way it is and the reason why like Brotherhood happened to begin with is because the manga, like the original came out while the manga was still also coming out, and eventually they caught up to the manga, and then they just had to start making stuff up. And so the ending of Fullmetal Alchemist is different from the manga, because the manga ending just hadn't happened yet. And it's okay. I do like the manga ending better than the original ending of Fullmetal Alchemist, the anime. And so I kind of understand why people, like, I understand, because I also prefer the manga ending, okay? But where people are like, Fullmetal Alchemist bad, like the original 2003 Fullmetal Alchemist bad, and like that's it, I'm like, it wasn't that bad. It wasn't actually that bad. Especially at the beginning, because anyone if you've never experienced Fullmetal Alchemist, I hate to say this, but I think you should watch both. At least the first half of the original, because Brotherhood came out only like 5 years after the original Fullmetal Alchemist, and so it was made assuming that people watching Brotherhood have already watched the original, because it came out so soon after the other. Stuff like Fruits Basket 2019 came out like 20 years after the original, almost 20 years after the original, so it's assuming that the people watching Fruits Basket 2019 probably didn't watch the original series, so it just does everything again, and it's really good. But and honestly, I think you can watch Fruits Basket 2019 in place of the original, because I like the original because of nostalgia, but if you've never been into Fruits Basket, I think it's fine if you watch, because I think the 2019 one adapts the manga better, honestly. But anyway, it's about Fullmetal Alchemist, and so I think Fullmetal Alchemist, like, Brotherhood assumed that people watching Brotherhood have already watched Fullmetal Alchemist. Wait a minute. Wait a second. Did I incorrectly? Backward. So take this out. Wow. Flip this around. So this. Like this. Like this. And now it's in the right direction. Okay. See, ignore what I said about not messing up this. See, I always do this. I'm like, don't worry. Don't worry. Wait a second. Oh, I'm supposed to turn. Now it looks like this. Like this. It looks like this. And this. And here like this. And now this. Also goes here like this. So it's secure. And this is like this. Excellent. And now I'm no longer an idiot. See how easy that was to fix? See, this is me learning from my mistakes. Now I can fix my mistakes faster. Now I can fix my mistakes faster. Wow. I get to have another little rubber arm guy. Rubber hand. Running finger. I might do the... Apparently, I see hands on here that are like holding hands, like to an object, and I'm like, wondering how that's supposed to tell. But anyway, he's got arms now. He's got arms. That looks pretty cool. I'm very happy. His arms look really nice. This has been fun thus far, and I think that is a good place to cut it for today, as we shall continue on with Mr. God Gundam next week to do the rest of his body. Yeah. Thank you to anyone who's tuned in this week. I shall see you all next week. Oh yeah, Tabletop. We started doing a new show on Sundays, Tabletop Plays, where they board game stuff, which is really neat. Don't forget to like, comment, and subscribe because it does help this stream. If you watched it, I would appreciate it. And also, I hope you have a wonderful rest of your weekend, and I will see you all next week. Bye-bye!